Okay, so here we have our 3 pounds of onions. You can see I'm using a variety. I have some red onions, and then these are a sweet George onion. I don't know if they're a yellow onion. And I'm gonna get these all chopped up. All right, so we're back. Here they are, the 3 pounds of sliced onions. And let me tell you what, they are fragrant. Okay, now to this, you add salt and pepper to taste. I am using 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt because we are going to add broth later, and it is going to have some salt in it. So I can adjust the salt at the end if I want. And then 3 tablespoons of butter. And now this is going to cook on low for 10 to 12 hours, just as it is. I sprayed the crock pot just in case there were some hot spots until the onions break down and release their liquids. Now, actually, I am putting this in the refrigerator tomorrow morning, very, very early. I will plug this in on low and get it cooking. And we will be back after our 10 to 12 hours of cook time. Okay, so it has been 10 hours. We're going to go ahead and give this the full 12 hours on low in the crock pot. And then we will add our additional ingredients. But I just wanted you to have a little look. Totally different looking than it was 10 hours ago. Okay, here are our other additional ingredients. We have 7 cups of beef broth. We're going to add a cup of red vinegar, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, a 1/2 teaspoon of thyme, and 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. And if you notice, my thyme says thyme on top of it. Come back soon for my spice cabinet organization video, where you'll learn about why I do that. In goes our 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. Next, we're going to add the tablespoon of rice vinegar. You can also use red wine vinegar or balsamic vinegar. I am using rice wine because it's what I have. Next, the Worcestershire sauce. Make sure that you shake the bottle. Worcestershire has a lot to it if you ever read the ingredients. And it does settle. That's such a great taste. I really like it. I really like it. Okay. And then we're going to add our 7 cups of beef broth. Now, if you would prefer to not use the red wine, you could instead do 8 cups of beef broth. Mine is just reconstituted from some beef base that I have. And my red wine is made by a family member. It's been around a while. It actually says red Zinfandel, but any red wine will do. There it is. Pouring it in. And now we're going to give it a little stir. And another 2 to 4 hours cook time. Now our soup has cooked another. I did 3 hours. Doesn't have to be an exact science. And what we're going to do is we're going to just finish this final steps here. Now this part, these steps, you don't want to do until you are ready to serve this soup. So you don't want to do it all up with these final ingredients and the final step until you're going to serve it. You don't want to store it in the refrigerator like this or anything like that. You can store it in the refrigerator like this. Heat the soup and then do this final step right before serving. Okay, so you're going to need some croutons. This is a restaurant secret. These are just garlic and herb croutons. I buy them in bulk at Sam's Club, a huge bag. I put them in this. We use a lot of them for salads. And then you need some cheese. You can do Swiss mozzarella, provolone, a combination of those, just depending on your taste. I'm going to use a little farmer's cheese, which if you've never heard of it, it's very delicious. It's similar to mozzarella and provolone, but a little different. And then some Swiss cheese. And then finally, you need a oven-proof dish because we're going to put this in the oven to broil. Okay, you can get sets of these. You can pick them up at thrift stores and things. And I like to set my dishes then on a pan just for safe maneuvering in and out of the oven. Okay, so I'm going to ladle some soup into the cup here. Probably gonna make a little bit of a mess. Of course. Okay. You want onions and you want broth. You just want a nice mix. We're not gonna fill it the whole way, but we're gonna fill it probably about an inch. There we go, an inch space. Okay, now we're gonna throw some croutons on top, like so. You can use French bread, you can use like little toasty breads, but this is what I'm doing. And I'm gonna just stick my Swiss cheese on there. I'm gonna throw my provolone on top of that. Or I'm sorry, not provolone, farmer's cheese. Similar to provolone. And now I'm going to broil it in the oven on low for a couple minutes. I'm gonna check it after 2. Ovens vary, so watch it. What you're looking for is just some bubbling, a little browning. Here we go. So I ended up doing 4 minutes on low broil. When you're broiling, another note, you want your oven rack on the highest position, but follow your oven's recommendations. I've had different ovens, different instructions as far as broiling. Some have you leave the door open, some don't, but this is what you're going for. Just a little bubbling, a little browning, and just, you know, melted and delicious. Okay, now the croutons, they soften a little in the hot broth and in the oven, and it's just super yum. Be careful when you take these out of the oven also because it's going to be hot. So make sure that you are using a pot holder to handle this, that when you're eating it, your guests or whomever knows, be careful. So there you have it, Crock-Pot French onion soup. Super easy, super delicious, very impressive, and you have a special restaurant trick with the croutons. I hope you enjoy. So please subscribe and see what else I've got coming.